The majority of us are brought up in a culture where we're taught to follow a predetermined path. Go to college, get a good paying job, the higher paying the better. Become wealthy by saving up money and live happily ever after. We often make the mistake of looking at wealth from a monetary standpoint. A banker who makes $100,000 a year is considered to be wealthier than a school teacher who makes $40,000 a year. Parents pressure their kids to go to college to get these higher paying jobs, believing that a higher yearly pay will equal higher levels of happiness for their kids. I remember telling my mom that I wanted to become a teacher and she laughed it off saying, they don't make any money. But let's do the math. Let's say that the banker is working 100 hours a week, which is not uncommon in their line of work. He gets a week off per year, so that's a total of 5,100 hours a year worked. $100,000 divided by 5,100 hours equals $19.60 per hour. A teacher works 40 hours a week but has about a third of the year off due to all the holidays, vacations, and whatnot. 2/3 of a year is equal to about 35 weeks. 35 a week, 40 hours per week is a total of 1,400 hours a year. $40,000 divided by 1,400 hours equals about $28.57 per hour. So if we look at things from this perspective, we can argue that a teacher is wealthier than a banker, because not only does she have almost 4 times the amount of free time the banker has per year, but she also makes significantly more when she does work. So I guess we should all become teachers, right? Because they have all this time off. But what if I told you that there's a way that you can work even less hours? Significantly less hours. In the book, The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, he speaks about people who manage to do just this. He calls them the new rich. The new rich work so little that they can work whenever and wherever they want in the world. Although they may not make more money than a typical salary, they certainly work the least hours by far. Oftentimes, even less than 10 hours a week. But how is this possible? This is possible because of 2 things that were never available to the previous generation. The first thing is the internet. 20 years ago, less than 5% of people were using the internet. Now, more than 48% of the world's population uses the internet. Never has there been a resource so powerful in the history of mankind. Back in the day, your typical store owner would have to profit from the foot traffic in front of his store. Nowadays, you can potentially tap into millions of foot traffic. If you could somehow position yourself in front of all these people, you would gain access to more foot traffic on a daily basis than even a large-scale mall. Go on Google and type in anything, whatever hobby you have, anything. Take a look at the first page. Every single one of those websites that you see on the first page are generating its creators money through ad revenue or affiliate sales. And how much work does the webmaster have to do? Well, besides starting up the website, ranking them, and maintaining them once in a while, not much. It might take a couple hundred hours, but this is nothing compared to the thousands of hours the average person works every year. They continue to make money throughout the day, even while they sleep. This is called passive income. The second thing people now have access to is outsourcing. If you're watching this video right now, chances are you're lucky enough to live in a first world country. Your currency is considered to be rather strong compared to those of third world countries. People in these third world countries are willing to work for you for a fraction of what it would cost to pay someone in your own country. For example, I run a Kindle direct publishing business, and this requires me to gather reviews for my books. On average, it takes about 30 minutes to gather one review manually. And on average, I look for around 30 reviews per book, which is usually enough to generate me about $100 a month. So that's 15 hours of work to gather enough reviews for one book. New York City just signed a contract that will eventually increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So in total, it would cost me $125 to hire someone to do all this work for me in New York City. Instead, I've chosen to outsource all of this work. I outsource my work to the Philippines and India, where I charge them about $1 an hour, and they are extremely happy with the amount of money that they're getting paid. The cost of living in these countries is just significantly lower. $1 is enough for a full meal. So in the end, they'll do 15 hours of work for just $15. Now, by using the internet and by outsourcing the majority of the work, the new rich is born. They position themselves in front of people who are interested in a certain niche and outsource the majority of the work to people in other countries. By doing this, they do not have to do any work besides managing and overseeing the entire thing. Sometimes even the management can be outsourced. It gets to a point where the new rich are working so little hours that they can literally do whatever they want with all that free time. Never in the history of mankind has there been this sort of wealth. Earning more money almost always meant having to do more and work more. The new rich is an alternative path that is very real and that many people are pursuing. Do not think that there is only one predetermined path to live life. There are many.